Okay, so the app says that my Robotaxi will be here in less than a minute. It's 0.2 kilometers away. I'm super stoked. I'm excited right now. We'll see what's gonna happen. Oh, I see it. Here it comes down the road. You know, I've never done this before, so I don't know if there's anything I need to do in my phone once it gets here or what's going on. But here it is. And it's a Hongqi, so it's a Chinese car. Oh, there it goes. My robot is leaving without me. What the hell, robot? Where is he going? That's strike one against the robots. If it's a taxi driver, he will definitely pick me up right where I'm standing. And the door's locked. My booking the Robotaxi and having to chase it down when it passed me was by far the most exciting and interesting part of the entire experience, which I suppose is good news for Robotaxis. The entire ride went off without a hitch. Zero human interventions, no excitement whatsoever. So instead of boring you with a 25-minute ride in which absolutely nothing happened, I'll give you a little bit of information and then we're gonna call it a day. As you get in the Robotaxi, first you have to confirm that it is actually you by using the touchscreen to input the last 4 digits of your phone number. Once you've done that and buckled your seatbelt, you're off to the races. Well, not exactly off to the races, because the Robotaxi is not going to exceed the speed limit. This means compared to a human driver, you're probably going to take a little bit longer to get to your destination. And speaking of your destination, currently these Lobo Kuaipao Robotaxis only operate in limited geographical areas. For example, this particular Robotaxi is limited to only one district here in Shenzhen. You cannot start in this district and then set your destination to another. No, it won't work like that. You have to stay in the same district. From my understanding, the Robotaxi works quite similarly to how they do with Waymo in the United States, which I've never taken. From what I understand, they also only operate in a geofenced area that has already been fully 3D mapped. The actual vehicle that I rode in was a Hongqi brand car. Hongqi is a Chinese brand electric vehicle. I've also seen ArcFox as Lobo Kuaipao. They may have other brands as well, but I've not seen them. Additionally, they are developing or have developed their own self-driving vehicle, and I'm not sure if it's actually released to the public just yet. Lobo Kuaipao are able to utilize different vehicles because the hardware is not native to the actual car, but as you saw when it pulled up, it is essentially strapped onto the top of the vehicle. It utilizes many different technologies, including cameras, LiDAR, radar, in order to safely, fully self-drive in dynamic situations, such as in a busy city like Shenzhen with many unique traffic conditions, such as pedestrians and cyclists who randomly pop up out of nowhere all the time. You may also notice there's tons of cameras within the car pointing at the driver or the human operator as well as the passengers, so they're monitoring lots of information. As a rider of the Robotaxi, you can use the touchscreens in the rear to control things like the climate, sound, and also videos that you could watch if you'd like to. You can also view the 3D visualization of the environment that the car sees. You are also able to change the color palette on the monitor in order to customize the mood to better suit your needs. This brand of Robotaxi, Lobo Kuaipao, is a subsidiary of Baidu. It is currently operating in a handful of cities across China. They are, as of this recording, free to use, meaning that on this trip I saved about 30 or 40 RMB, maybe about $5, by taking the Robotaxi instead of a normal taxi or rideshare vehicle. The cost savings is good, but you're not going to save that much money by taking this unless you take it every single day, just because the operating area is actually quite small. The time it takes to wait for the Robotaxi to show up, because there's not very many of them, and then actually the slow pace of driving makes it maybe not the ideal choice for anyone who is pressed for time or in a hurry. Had I simply chosen to take the subway, it would have cost me about $1 and it would have been much, much faster. And if I would have taken a normal taxi, it also would have been much faster because I would have been able to flag the taxi much quicker and the driver would have driven like a madman. The most interesting or exciting moments of the actual drive were probably when the car very slowly entered or approached this T-shaped intersection in which we had the right of way. There's no traffic signal here, and oftentimes at this intersection, cars do come out of nowhere from the left, very quickly turning into traffic. And so the car apparently understands this and took its sweet time entering this intersection. And then here at the end, when the car encountered a double parked Tesla there on the right, it had to go around it ever so slightly into oncoming lanes, which meant it had to cross a double yellow line. Again, ever so slightly. Aside from that, there was no other interesting incidents that happened the entire drive. And again, no human interventions. Overall, I felt that the fact that the ride was so boring is the best kind of praise that I could possibly give to this robot. Taxi drivers, especially in China, are generally pretty terrible. They accelerate and they brake like they've never been a passenger in a car before, and they swerve in and out of traffic, making the ride generally pretty uncomfortable at best and unsafe at worst. This robot, it picked me up and it drove me to my destination without incident. It was smooth in its acceleration and smooth when changing lanes. I never once felt like the car was out of control, or that it didn't know what it was doing, or that I wished I could get out and find another way to get to my destination, like sometimes I do feel with cab drivers. So I, for one, welcome our robot taxi overlords, and if the price ends up being better than a human taxi in the future, I will gladly choose the robot. While it is only operating in limited regional areas, however, I will just take my electric bike or the subway because the region is just far too small, and those are just better means of local transportation. So have you ever taken a Robotaxi? How was your experience with it? Would you take a Robotaxi? I'd love to hear what you say in the comments. How does this compare to, say, Waymo, if you've ridden that? Just let me know, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.